Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today. We are taking a deep dive into the paradoxical, wildly extravagant, and honestly just absolutely fascinating world of trillionaire wristwear. We're going to break down exactly how some steel, glass, and a bunch of tiny gears can somehow command the price of a sprawling luxury estate.
Okay, let's jump right in. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll tackle the million-dollar question. Then, centuries of watchmaking craft. Next, we'll look at the rebels and rule breakers, followed by the titans of time, and finally, we'll end with the ultimate wrist flex.
All right, starting us off with Section 1, the million-dollar question, the paradox of luxury.
It really is the ultimate question, isn't it? I mean, why in the world would someone drop $4,000, $100,000, or even an astonishing $31 million on a watch? Especially when every single one of us carries a smartphone right in our pocket, a phone that connects to atomic clocks and tells the exact time absolutely perfectly for free. On the surface, it literally defies basic logic.
But here's the thing. We aren't actually talking about timekeeping anymore. You see, on one hand, you have a utilitarian tool. On the other, you have a $31 million Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime. At this crazy echelon of extreme wealth, these pieces are essentially wearable bank vaults. They are miniature mechanical marvels, massive cultural signifiers, and basically the ultimate VIP pass to a highly exclusive global club. Moving right along to Section 2, Centuries of Watchmaking Craft, the Old Guard.
So to really wrap our heads around these astronomical prices, we first have to look at time itself. The foundational brands of horology, which by the way is just the fancy term for the study and measurement of time, they have unbelievable staying power. I mean, we are looking at Blancpain, which was literally forged in a Swiss barn back in 1735, Vacheron Constantin in 1755, Breguet in 1775, Jaeger-LeCoultre in 1833. A massive part of their valuation is simply their pure, unbroken heritage. These aren't just companies, these are dynasties that have outlasted actual empires.
And, well, the price of all that history? It is staggering. $30 million. That's the auction price fetched at Sotheby's for Breguet's Marie Antoinette pocket watch. This wasn't just slapped together on an assembly line, no. This was a 40-year opus that was finally finished in 1827. So when you buy into the old guard, you aren't just buying a watch, you are buying a literal royal ransom of history.
And pulling this off requires a mind-bending level of microscopic mastery. We are talking about atelier artisans hunched over microscopes all day. You've got Jaeger-LeCoultre threading gears thinner than a human hair, Blancpain employing 500 artisans just to forge a single 700-part marvel that takes a decade to build. And Vacheron Constantin, they're leaning on 269 years of continuous craft. It really is a trillionaire's whisper of precision, demanding painstaking, almost unimaginable labor.
Now let's pivot a bit to Section 3, Rebels and Rule Breakers, the New Guard.
You see, not every brand relies on centuries of quiet Swiss history. Some of these modern upstarts command their massive value through sheer, unapologetic volume and audaciousness. Take Jacob & Co., for example, which was sparked in 1986. They kick off their lineup at a relatively modest $5,000 for a titanium skeleton watch. But listen, that is just the entry ticket to a wild, wild ride of skull motifs, roulette wheel dials, and literally tiny Bugatti engines right there on your wrist.
And wow, do they escalate quickly. Contrast that entry price with this number, $18 million. This is the cost of the Jacob & Co. Billionaire watch, most famously worn by Conor McGregor. It is quite literally a diamond fortress on the wrist. This is loud luxury, guys. A raw, unapologetic flex that specifically caters to hip-hop royalty and sports superstars who want their wealth seen from all the way across the room.
But it's important to note, the New Guard isn't all about diamonds. It's also about a deep, almost obsessive pop culture synergy with mechanical genius. Just look at this quote from actor Benedict Cumberbatch, who calls his F.P. Journe watch, "My Time Lord." Now, F.P. Journe was only ignited back in 1999, but it commands massive respect by serving up these gorgeous 18th century vibes mixed with complex mechanical jargon, and Hollywood royalty absolutely eats it up, eagerly validating the brand and wearing them on the red carpet to the Oscars.
So what's their secret weapon? It's artificial scarcity. For example, F.P. Journe employs just 50 craftsmen to produce a mere 800 watches a year. That's it. Jacob & Co. caps at 5,000. Even the legendary Audemars Piguet, famous for LeBron James wearing their Royal Oak offshore, they produce only 40,000 watches annually. By tightly restricting supply while celebrity demand skyrockets, they absolutely guarantee that their creations remain incredibly exclusive and, of course, aggressively priced.
All right, let's move into Section 4, the titans of time, the blue chips.
When we talk about global demand vastly outstripping supply, we really have to look at Germany's A. Lange and Sony. Get this, their Grand Complication watch is made of 2,876 individual microscopic parts. Their entire workforce is just 500 artisans, and the total global limit of that specific watch? 6. Just 6 units in the entire world. This kind of meticulous engineering creates a legendary status where securing one of these watches is genuinely harder than buying an exclusive hypercar. So, the crucial point here is understanding what all those thousands of parts actually do. In watchmaking, a complication is any function other than simply displaying the time. We're talking perpetual calendars that automatically account for leap years, moon phases, and tourbillons, which are these crazy rotating mechanical cages that literally defy gravity to increase accuracy. These titans, like Patek Philippe, are building 20 complication beasts that can calculate celestial bodies. They aren't just watches, they are actual mechanical computers on your wrist.
And precisely because of that engineering, they trade at record-breaking valuations. We've got A. Lange & Söhne, pieces selling privately for $2.5 million, Vacheron Constantine's 57 complication opus going for $10 million, and Patek Philippe's Grandmaster Chime in steel fetching an unbelievable $31 million at auction. They are blue-chip assets. You don't really just wear them, you invest in them, often keeping them safely locked away in a vault.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the ultimate wrist flex, the Apex.
Launched in just 1999, Richard Mille completely bypassed traditional horology to create a racing tech fiend's absolute dream. Its elite status combined with pure velocity. Usain Bolt literally calls his Richard Mille my lightning. And what's truly crazy about this is that athletes like Bolt and Rafael Nadal actually wear these watches during intense athletic play. I mean, they are sprinting in the Olympics or smashing clay court returns while wearing millions of dollars on their wrists.
And they can do this because of sheer, insane engineering. Just completely forget the heavy gold and platinum of traditional luxury. Richard Mille utilizes airspace grit. Take the RM50-03 graphene feather. It weighs just 38 grams. I mean, it weighs practically nothing. Yet this feather-light, shockproof marvel commands a price tag of $1.5 million. It completely shatters and defies every single standard of what a luxury watch is supposed to look and feel like.
And this brilliantly illustrates the overarching framework we've uncovered today, the Trillionaire formula. Step 1. You need an unbelievable story, whether that's microscopic mechanics or centuries of deep heritage. Step 2. You strictly bottleneck the supply to create intense artificial scarcity. And Step 3. You align with the absolute apex of global culture and celebrity to validate the flex. If you execute this perfectly, you build astronomical value.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and I want to leave you with a final question. If money were truly no object, which philosophy of extreme luxury would you choose? Do you want the quiet, 200-year-old Swiss heritage, the diamond-studded loud luxury of the modern rebels, or maybe the feather-light aerospace grit of the Apex Flex? Basically, what is your wealth vibe? Think about it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.